breaking down the political landscape. This is K2 Truth for you. Political honesty rooted in God. This is K2 Truth for you.
Good evening. Welcome to KQ. I'm Ken.
I'm Kevlon.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
And I'm Big Will.
This is K2 the Truth for you.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, everyone.
Welcome to KQ. I'm Ken.
I'm Kevlon.
And this is Big Will.
There you
Yes,
go.
indeed. So y'all had the pleasure of meeting one of our younger brothers. So now you get to meet one of our elderly brothers, Willie.
Yeah. He ain't the
He's our
eldest,
elder.
but yeah, he on up there now. He up there.
Welcome to the mean streets of Montgomery, where only the strong survive, but you got to be lucky too.
Yep. I'm good and I'm lucky.
How
I got
about
my
that?
rabbit foot.
Yeah.
I
So
tell you,
man, but the whole the whole realm of the news here lately has really run amok. It's going crazy. There's a whole lot of back and forth craziness and then a whole bunch of lies have been exposed lately. Did you see that one they're talking about now, Kev? That the whistleblower they arrested one of the whistleblowers on the Hunter Biden and Joe Biden
Yeah.
impeachment thing when they arrested
Yeah,
him
so
for telling
he's
lies.
an FBI informant, and
Yes.
he's one of the guys that the Republicans have been hanging their hats on recently, saying that he is exposing that Joe Biden received a $5 million bribe, and that's the main one that they're using to justify their impeachment efforts against Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Of course, it turned out he was a total fraud, a total liar. He was making it all up. And as a matter of fact, the more interviews he conducted, the more lies he made up.
Right.
And to put icing on the cake, it's been discovered that he's been getting his information from a Russian operative. So once again, Russia is rearing its ugly head, trying to insert itself into our election process and trying to deal a death blow to the Democrats. And all of the Republican House members bought it hook, line, and sinker. And so did the rank and file Republicans.
Yep. Not only did they buy it, but then they started selling it.
Yeah.
Yeah. At a
you
markup.
Can't hold on to that too long. You got to sell it.
Yeah. Sold for a profit, baby. Sold for a profit. That's how they do.
hey, Kev, don't they call it dry snitching when you're snitching and you ain't telling the truth?
They call it dry snitching or lie snitching.
Yeah. My goodness.
But
so
it
tonight,
just goes to show you. It just goes to show you. Think about it. This Hunter Biden thing has been just engulfing the news cycle for months and months and months. They have been investigating him for over 5 years. They have been accusing Joe Biden of corruption, trying to make him look equal to Trump. They have been throwing all kinds of stories out in the media. And, once it gets out into the media, everybody takes it like it's real. And so Joe Biden has been fighting uphill against this avalanche of lies. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
The whole point from the beginning, just for a little bit of background, the idea before Hunter Biden joined Burisma, which is the Ukrainian company, and everybody remembers Ukraine because that's the country whose our president, shook down for military aid. That's why he got impeached the first time, because he wanted him to do him a little favor and announce that Joe Biden's son was under investigation so that they can dirty up President Biden for the last election cycle. Well, the same thing is going on. They throw this thing out. They say, Russia, Russia, Russia. It's a hoax. No, it's not a hoax. This is Russian efforts to just basically mess with our political process. And disinformation and misinformation is the tool that they use. So we all know that anybody out there is just willing and able to just suck up all of that bad information that's being passed by the Russians over through our social media apparatus and get to the rank and file people that vote so that they can sort of have their opinion tarnished about Joe Biden. It's a continuous effort. So be on guard, be on the lookout. It's coming at you fast and furious.
And another new thing in the news, did you notice Alabama made the news?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So now it is in vitro fertilization.
I thought it was because we was the cradle of civil rights.
Oh, it's the cradle of civil rights for once you put the sperm and the egg together, and then you put it in the freezer. If anything happens to that egg, that's considered a life. That's like murder.
Yeah. So
yeah. They considered it
can,
murder. A guy picked up a vial and dropped it, and Alabama Supreme Court just ruled that he can be charged for manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, they allowed him to be sued, him or her to be sued, but that's just the beginning. They're basically taking it into a fertilized egg is a human being, so they're trying to use that. This is just the footstool, just like abortion was the footstool for them to get into this life upon conception. And they're gonna push that into all the way into birth control and everything else. Alabama, we're the lucky ones, we're the lucky ones.
Oh yeah, no doubt. All right, so let's get into the. Oh, you had something to add there, Willie?
Hey, down here in Alabama, we ain't got nothing but Roll Tide and the good Lord.
Yeah.
Praise Yahweh.
Yeah. So getting into tonight's topics over here, click around a little bit.
Oh, one quick correction. We don't know if we still got Roll Tide anymore till we find out how good our next coach is gonna be.
Oh, it's been lining up sweet. Yeah. They got a couple of number ones. One the DB that was getting ready to go into the draft. He decided to come. He's like he would have been first or second in the draft. He coming back, and then he said, "I'm going to Bama." And the boys got another Cam Newton quarterback coming from wherever they coach, Washington or wherever their coach came from. Yeah, we got some nice stuff. We got some nice defense straight.
Hey, if not, our ex-president would just draw us on up in there.
Yeah.
Why didn't they get Tuberville to come coach them?
It won't be Roll Tide. It'll be Roll Hurricane.
Yeah, it's gonna go on up over there. It's gonna go on over there in Alabama. Oh man, how you just gonna add Alabama, boy?
Yeah, with a Sharpie.
Yeah.
All right. Our first bit of news that we're gonna touch on. We just had, for the first time in American history, a former United States president urge Russia to attack our allies. Yeah. So, as you know, or you may not know, Trump, ever since he was elected the last time, he was against NATO. Surprise, surprise. NATO is Putin's biggest adversary as a whole. All of these countries that are joined together to form this military alliance, this thing has kept the peace throughout all of the European countries and in America. And NATO is a very important alliance, to say the least. But basically, one of the major tenets of NATO is if one of the countries is attacked, then all of the countries should respond militarily. No questions asked. If you go after one of us, you coming after all of us. Russia doesn't like that too much. That makes Putin mad. So therefore, Donald Trump is mad about it too. This is just the way he rolls. He rolls like this. So he literally got on a stage at a rally, and he's been harping about making these NATO countries pay their 2% as if they're paying it into some kind of bank account or something. That's not how it works. But he's saying that if they don't pay their 2%, should we allow Russia to attack them? And his thing was, he said literally, I will encourage them to do whatever the hell they want to our allies.
You got to pay your bills. You got to pay. He would encourage Putin to do whatever the hell he wants.
That's the wrong attitude. You got to think about when we get attacked.
Right.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the only time that the Article 5 powers, where if one country is attacked, all of them join in, the only time that's been invoked is when we were attacked on 9/11. That's where all of the alliance joined us in our misadventure into Afghanistan and Iraq. They had our back, and that's the whole point.
Y'all don't remember it was Canada and UK and everybody was out there, had troops out there.
The coalition of the willing.
Yeah,
Hey,
I think they called it Operation Crossfire, Willie.
According to 9/11, oh my God, I don't know. I don't think 9/11 is a joke.
Well, that's a whole nother topic. But the point is, though, that it's an alliance, and Donald Trump is not for it. It's un-American to not be for this alliance. First thing that you want to do as an American president is you want to honor the treaties and alliances that America has entered into.
Of course.
If you can't do that, you have no business being president. And I'm going to tell you straight up, nobody has any business supporting Donald Trump after he said this. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody has no business running with him, even though he's got 91 counts. What president does that?
Yeah. The only president to ever be indicted after office. Now, Nixon would have been indicted, but he had sense enough to walk away.
Yeah.
Benedict Donald, he don't have sense enough to do that. So once he found out he was likely to be indicted, he's running again.
Yeah, cut a deal and dipped. Let's see here. So what did Trump get wrong? NATO members don't pay to belong, nor don't owe the organization anything other than contributions to a largely administrative fund. Trump clearly wasn't referring to those administrative payments. Yeah, not at all. Skip ahead. U.S. presidents before him raised that concern. In fact, it was in 2014 during Barack Obama's administration that NATO members agreed to move toward spending 2% of GDP on national defense by 2024. Well, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. So the 2024 just got here. So all of this yapping that Trump was doing before about they won't pay, that 2024 hadn't even gotten here. A. B, it was an agreement, a verbal agreement. It wasn't like this was some kind of article in writing. If you don't do this, X will happen. And C, if one of us is attacked, we shouldn't go, well, where did you pay? Did you pay? Did you pay? How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, because you're like, did you spend 2% of your money on your military? I mean, what is he asking?
Yeah, that's all it is.
You spend 2% of your GDP on your military, and if you don't, then we ain't gonna come to you. We ain't got your back.
So you have to ask yourself, why would he possibly even go into this? Because obviously there is no requirement for them to put 2% of their GDP into a particular fund. The reason is because he is influenced by Vladimir Putin. He's Putin's puppet. He's been Putin's puppet since day one. Hillary Clinton had it exactly right.
Puppet, but no puppet.
People couldn't stomach her. She was horrible because of her emails. I mean,
right.
So, but I'm just trying to once again, the comparison, the compare and contrast is just ridiculously stark. This guy shouldn't be nowhere near a government office. Period. Yeah. Anybody that would say something like this.
Yeah, I hope the Supreme Court rules correctly here coming up soon about the Colorado case, taking them off the ballot.
Well, what about the small people here, like contractors and things? How can you I'll be raising sand about my money right long now. How much money is he losing in these courts?
Yeah.
If he owed me a few million, I'd be wanting to get mine out right now.
So what he does to the contractors, that's the easiest game for him. What he does is he strings them the same way he's doing these delays and things in the court cases now. He does that in all of these smaller cases as well. He basically makes them run out of money. They can't afford to adjudicate the way a government can. And so he basically runs out the clock on them.
How can you be president and owe people? Like people you owe.
Exactly. That's a compromised person. I think they call it a mark That would be a mark. He's 500,000 in the hole. Putin over there waving that check. He gonna take it. You know he'll take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why he was trying to
fight every time.
That's why he was trying to hold on to them documents so he can get some money. I'm trying to tell you, that's my
man. He was selling them things. Where that big 9-inch book they had with all our spies and all that stuff listed in there and everything else. Where did that thing go?
Right.
Then people get locked up for a dime a weed, but you can have documents to sell. Oh my God.
All right. Well, we're gonna play a little short video. This is Fox News. Yeah, humiliate. Okay, here we go. This is talking about our informant in the news.
Last night, we brought you the story of the wildly embarrassing bombshell that has blown up the right-wing case against President Joe Biden's sole surviving son. The special counsel investigating the Bidens, Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney David Weiss, has now indicted his own key informant for lying. 43-year-old Alexander Smirnov was arrested Wednesday and charged on 2 counts for feeding the FBI false information. Smirnov's allegation that Joe and Hunter Biden received $5 million bribes from a Ukrainian company has always been manifestly absurd. And yet, it was the central point of the Republican argument for President Biden's impeachment. Republican politicians and the right-wing media relied on this discredited informant to make their case over and over and over again.
A veteran FBI informant alleging both the president and Hunter Biden each took $5 million in bribes.
The details come from an FBI informant who is very trusted.
A highly reliable informant that has always checked out all the information he's ever given us is checked out.
We have determined that whistleblower is extremely credible.
This is a very crucial piece of our investigation.
A confidential human source that had been reliable previously to the FBI.
A confidential informant that they had on the payroll documented allegations of bribery from a trusted FBI confidential human source has now finally been released. Now, its contents are devastating.
Trusted, so reliable, highly credible. In fact, in just 1 year, Sean Hannity, that guy you just saw there, promoted the bogus claims of that so-called trusted informant no less than 85 times on his show. 28 of those segments were Hannity monologues, long ones, on the topic. And of course, it was a joint effort between Fox News and elected Republicans like Texas podcaster Ted Cruz, who talked about it ad nauseum on his thrice weekly program called The Big Cushy Chair, or whatever it is. So you might think, given the fact that their entire case just fell apart in the most public and embarrassing way imaginable, that at least some of these people would feel they had to address it. Say if you're a Fox News broadcaster who'd been repeating what you now know to be a lie to your audience for months. No, of course, they didn't even mention it. As of last night, at least. Fox News, take a look at what they were talking about last night when the story broke on Fox News.
And welcome to Hannity. And today was an unmitigated disaster for Fulton County DA Fani Willis.
Fanny lines blurred, allowing a county DA to bring charges against a former U.S. president is absurd and destructive.
Fanny and the lover boy in the hot seat. The Trump Georgia case falls apart. But remember, this isn't a Fanny and Loverboy scandal. It's a Biden scandal.
We also have to remember that Joe Biden at this point is essentially a vegetable.
Another knock on Joe Biden's leaky bucket of a brain.
Obama and the CIA caught cooking the books. Brand new bombshells.
Just the usual charming content across all of Fox News primetime last night during this big story. There were 0 mentions of their favorite FBI informant. 0. Now, I think tonight they might get to it once they've gotten their stories straight, break it to their audience. The person they've been relying on for over a year with this ludicrous claim wasn't telling the truth, has in fact been arrested for making it up. But, we know this. Fox News is not a journalistic organization. Their purpose is to create an alternate reality for their viewers where they hear only what the conservative movement wants them to hear. We know that because they paid out the largest media defamation settlement in all of U.S. history to the tune of nearly $800 million for creating the alternate reality. The election was stolen from Donald Trump, and we know they knew that was false. And believe me, they saw the news about their number one informant yesterday. They just chose to ignore it. How embarrassing. Here I was thinking Sean Hannity always wants to set the record straight.
Again, on this show, we always want to set the record straight.
There you have it. I couldn't have put it better myself. I applaud MSNBC for providing that footage. Thank you. So, Ken, I thought media was liberal. Can't hear you, bro. Can't hear you, Ken.
My bad. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely the liberal media. in a nutshell.
On one hand, you have the news organization that has already had to pay $800 million, almost $1 billion, because they were lying to their viewers over and over and over about Dominion. That same news organization peddles the lies about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and all of these lies they made up about bribes and all of this. And they go on and on and on and on and on about an informant that ended up getting arrested and charged for lying to the FBI. And that was the main person they were relying on. But after it all blows up, that same organization has the balls to not even come out and admit that what they said was wrong. And people still listen to them. People still rely on them. They're still taken as a credible organization. The entire Republican Party peddled the same lies. They're still taken seriously for pushing out Russian talking points to hurt their president. What am I missing here? Or are we approaching catastrophic circumstances with this misinformation that's being peddled?
Yeah, the crazy thing is, I think a lot of the maggots, I think they know what's going on. I mean, because they ask them the question, they have polls and everything asking them, hey, if Donald Trump becomes a dictator like Putin, how would that make you feel? And they're all like, fine, that'd make me feel great. I'll be happy to live under a dictator as long as it's Donald J. Trump. You know what I'm saying? They're happy with it. Because they think that Donald Trump is going to protect them and root all of us crazy people out of here.
Well, it's not just the maggots that I'm concerned with. I expect the people that are in the cult to act like cult followers. That's how cult people do. They act like they're in a cult. So I expect that. The part that makes me kind of weary and infuriates me is that you have people that literally want a democracy. They literally want things that are going well to continue to go well. They literally believe in America, but because of the information that's being peddled, they lull themselves into a situation where they actually start doubting the veracity of the United States president that's actually performed honorably and performed very well. To me right now with the proliferation of social media and the success that Fox News has had, you have just a mountain of bad information that's being peddled at the American people. And the more that we decide as a society to keep giving that an open ear, then the less likely we are to hold on to our democracy. These things don't happen by mistake. There has to be like a concerted effort between the people in government and the media apparatus, Fox News and OAN News and Newsmax. They all have to peddle the same lies. And once they do that, I think it was Hitler that said, if you're gonna lie, make it a fantastic lie, because that's the ones that people will believe. So they throw out fantastic lies over and over and over, and people start taking it seriously. And so we're here to try to just break through that misinformation and guide people back and remind people that there is actually a party that is serious about governing. They're serious about American democracy, and they're serious about doing the right thing for the American people. That's the Democrats. And then on the other hand, you have the Republicans who are lock, stock, and barrel running behind Donald Trump and they're becoming closer and closer, more closely aligned to Vladimir Putin and peddling his talking points and trying to erode American democracy. I'll remind you, we had a literal case where we did not have a peaceful transfer of power the last time around. They build a gallows out there, Ken?
Oh yeah, they built the gallows. That's what Big Bro was trying to ask. Who built the doggone gallows?
Yeah, they wanted to hang the vice president, their vice president, the Republican vice president. That gallows had his name on it.
Yep, this ain't too far back. Well, this was just in October 2023. They had new suspicions on who built the gallows. Somebody real smart decided to go through the there he is, go through the footage. And yeah, there's that guy putting the cross beam up there on that thing. And there he is. In all his glory.
Now think about what misinformation and disinformation does. It gets people so riled up that they will literally go to the Capitol of the United States, not only break in, take a dump in the rotunda, hunt down people, but they came out there equipped to build a gallows in the lawn. Okay. How do you go from someone who's a participant in the political process, someone who pays attention to government and who wants government to go a certain way, to where you will actually get up off your behind and build a gallows and take it down there because Donald Trump says so? This is the type of indoctrination that goes on when we look at ISIS and all of that. You know, they're being indoctrinated by the internet. Well, these people are being indoctrinated as well. Look at the results. How crazy can you be to go down and build a gallows and you this is for the government officials.
This is prefab. This thing, when you look at these doggone look at the turnbuckles on this thing, man. It's got
now,
Ken,
name the last time a democratic institution promoted people to do something like this, build a gallows. When did that happen, Ken?
Never in the history. Wow.
No, not since the modern day Democratic Party has been established. When the Dixiecrats left the Democrats and went to the Republicans because they didn't want to treat black people right, and they left them with all of the people who did want to treat black people right. And now that is your modern day Democratic Party, and they don't promote this type of radicalism. As a Democrat, I would never think about getting up off my behind and build a gallows for somebody that I disagree with politically or somebody who won't throw an election my way. Why? Yeah. This takes a lot of effort. And Donald Trump is the delivery system.
Yeah, and they had already built this thing and had it already put together. Then they disassembled it and moved it in just piles of wood, so to speak, and then put the dang on gallows up in the front yard of the White House.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So
yeah, dudes out there, that's a power drill right there.
Yeah. I mean, either you want this type of mentality permeating throughout the United States, or you want the type of mentality that you've seen in the past Democratic administrations, the Clintons administration, the Obama administration, and the Biden administration, where they literally rebuilt our economy through sound governing principles. Which mentality do we want here, people? So that's all we had to say today. We're going to stop preaching. Please, please, please inform yourself. Don't go and get your news off of no Twitter and off of no social media site. They have reputable news organizations that are peer-reviewed, that actually have journalistic standards that they have to uphold in order for them to be considered credible. Those are the type of people that you want to get your information from. AP, New York Post, New York Times. Stay away from the op-ed pages. Those are just opinions. Right. But we have places that we can go to get factual information. An informed populace is necessary for a democracy to succeed. So I just urge you all to get informed, seek real information from reputable sources, and let's promote democratic principles in this country instead of hang Mike Pence principles.
Right. And keep in mind, yeah, right now the news is the best miniseries on TV, baby. Best miniseries in history.
Hey, that Fonnie Willis drama was a trip, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, we love us some Fonnie Willis.
Yeah, she did a good job of representing herself in the midst of all of that. So
yeah,
good kudos to you, Fonnie. Kudos.
All right, y'all. Y'all be sweet, be good. Keep it love, keep it peace. KQ.
Hair grease.